everybody, welcome to EduTap. It's a common notion among the aspirants that it is very easy for a UPSC aspirant to clear NABARD grade examination. But it's not entirely true. We do agree that some part of UPSC preparation does help in NABARD examination, but UPSC aspirants they have their own sets of struggles for preparing for NABARD grade examination. And today we are going to discuss about them. What are the struggles that you have to face if you are from UPSC background and are now preparing for NABARD grade examination? How to overcome them from the topper himself. But before that, let's just welcome Mr. Zahir Khan on our platform. Hi Zahir, welcome to EduTab and congratulations on your achievement.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right. So we will talk about the struggles that I started off with, right? But let's just start off with what's your education background and how you then started preparing for this examination.
Ma'am, I have completed my graduation in BA English and Language and Literature, and I was graduated in 2018 itself. Then from 2018 onwards, I was preparing for UPSC, and through that time, I also completed my master's in political science from McNew, and I have attended UPSC till 2022 and written one mains also. In that year itself, I thought of switching to regulatory body by knowing about the NABARD and all from two of my friends who are already preparing for NABARD. So I switched back to regulatory bodies exam in 2023 itself, ma'am.
All right, all right. So, okay, so after some time you started to switch to regulatory bodies, right? So, if I start from the phase one of this examination where quants reasoning English is asked, which is also a part of in your UPSC CSAT examination, right? So, like if you have to compare, what would you say that is it very similar to what the questions that are framed in UPSC, or is it different? And if different, then how did you prepare for it?
Ma'am, it is completely different from UPSC CSAT. So with regard to the QRE session of NABARD phase 1, I had started preparing for the quant and reasoning session from the EduTap itself. So the VD sir, I mean Vishnu sir has already given us important topics for us to clear. It is only not just qualifying paper. So we should focus on some areas and we should prepare on that area and we should attempt the questions with full accuracy. These are the things that's required to clear the phase one non-qualifying session now.
Right, true. So you went for only specific chapters which are quite recurrent in exam, and you practice it more.
Yes, ma'am. Have gone through the only the major topics or the major areas, and I didn't prepare all the topics. So I was able to pinpoint or I was able to pick the correct questions and attempt it with full accuracy, ma'am.
True. Right. And if we talk about for decision making and computer knowledge, so did you rely on the course only?
Yes, ma'am. I had listened to the YouTube marathon session. One is from Jaletsa about the decision
Mm-hmm.
making and the computer knowledge also. So both these topics I attended 10 or 12 mock tests, subjective mock tests. So I was ready to go. And also since I was also preparing for RBI, the decision making was quite doable for me.
Right, true. And okay, so in phase one, if aspirants don't know, we have like eight subjects that are asked: quants, reasoning, English, decision making, and computer knowledge being just qualifying in nature, right? So that is why Mr. Zahir also especially focused on specific chapters because you need not to put much of your energy into something which is not going to give you for the results, right? So only the specifics would do. And coming to the merit section, we have general awareness, ESI, and ARD. I would like to ask for general awareness first, right? Again, if you compare from it from UPSC, in UPSC, when current affairs are asked, they are more in, analytical sort of way questions are asked. But here it's more data heavy or data specific, right? First of all, I would want to know that how was that switch for you worked for you? Because coming from that analytical sort of preparation to just, mugging up the data, how difficult or how simpler was it and how you prepared for it?
Ma'am, it's initially I was very much interested in preparing for the this exam, especially because I am very much interested in finance section. So I started to read the newspaper daily, some business daily. So for the GA session and the ESI session in general, I started to read the CT 360 daily. So one CT 360 will come up in 1 or 2 days. So I started to read that. and also I will just scroll down through the PABs also. So
Hmm.
all these things, when I read, I just want to ensure that I want to retain the information as much as time possible. So in the weekly time, I was able to revise some more other the back years. So
Yeah.
after the exam date got announced, I will listen to the marathon session. And I listen to the marathon session and I will read the slides or the PDF of that multiple times. So in this way, I was able to retain this completely different data heavy session. I mean, data heavy
Right.
facts of ESI and GA.
Right, right, true. And if I have to ask you about your revision strategy, so whatever you were preparing, like you said, you referred to magazines or the session 360 degree, right? Or CTC 360, or for schemes, you had schemes tab magazine read, right? For reports, you had reports tab, and etc. Right. So I want to ask, like, how did you used to do the revision? Because ultimately, all the content is very bulky. Right. So, was there any specific way which worked for you for the revision?
Ma'am, I focused only on the last 3 months more than the back, I mean, 4 or 5 months later. So I was like, I want to backways, I was revising. So if the exam is on September, I will revise with August, July, June, like that only. So I have, and also I'm not at all good at note making. So I was not able to jot down the points from it. So I thought of having multiple reading only. I will glance through the PDF or the slides multiple times, and I was like that, okay, this is important. So I will just write the headings only. I mean, whether I need to just before the exam, I want to ensure that I'm looking all the data or facts
Yeah.
related to that. This way, I was able to revise multiple times.
Right, right. So it's a key takeaway for the aspirants who wish to make notes, or they are not into the habit of making notes. The it revision can still work for you. If you do multiple revisions, that would help you to retain the information in the exam. Right. Okay. So now let's come to phase two preparation. See, ESI and ARD are such subject which are asked both in phase one and phase two. So we will go for integrated preparation. Okay. Up now, usually it's a misconception, I would say, in the market among the aspirants, that phase two is very, very easy for UPSC aspirants because it's for the descriptive writing, right? But what students tend to forget that there is 50 marks objective as well. And if we talk about in phase two, it is pretty much in depth now. In the recent years, it has been observed that the in phase two, in depth questions are being asked, right? And secondly, yes, descriptive writing is there, but you would have to type the answers, right? So what was the toughest part of your journey, I would want to ask, regarding this examination in phase 2, and how you then handled that?
Ma'am, I was okay with the writing the answers. I mean, for UPSC, we want to write with the pen and paper mode only. So in my first attempt in 2023, I cleared the prelims and wrote the mains. But I was not able to prepare holistically for the mains that year. And my typing speed was not that good. And I could not get the required points during the exam time. And I couldn't clear the mains that year. So when coming to the 2024 attempt, I started to practice earlier. I mean, from the March on, I mean, January onwards, I started to practice from a practice website, typing practice website. And also, I usually started to write 4 or 5 answers per week from the March onwards itself. So this is the toughest part when we are switching from UPSC to, I mean, regulatory body, especially the computer typing. We should be aware
Yeah.
of. And with regard to the objective, in 2023, 4 or 5 questions was asked from the soil science, and it was very much in detail question. So it is not at all an easy for any non-agri students to get the answers correctly in that limited time. So for the 24 attempt, I was like, I should practice more and more. So I attended more mock tests and I revised the major important chapters multiple times. And this year's objective was like that. It was like more sort of analytical, and also it was not at all easy. It was very tougher than the last year. So the objective and the descriptive, all these things are entirely different from the last year. So uh, the amount of time I had invested in it really helped me to get into the, I mean, success this year, ma'am.
Right, right. So starting off with descriptive typing, I would want to ask, like, you started from scratch, right? The typing part. So for you, how much time, like how many hours a day did you used to dedicate in that, and how many months it took you to be fluent enough in typing so that you can write the answers?
Ma'am, I have started from January onwards this year. I mean, 2024 January onwards. Daily 30 minutes I will be doing typing practice only from a keyboard website. So it was like around 3 to 4 months it took for me to get accustomed to the typing. So from the scratch, we are required to have 3 to 4 months of daily effort to have that kind of speed and
Right,
to write
right.
the exam.
Right, and it's also important for aspirants to understand that you were dedicating 30 minutes a day because you were also focusing on other parts of the examination, right? It should not be like that in a day for half of the day you're just dedicating to typing speed, because that would not work if you don't have content to write in the examination, right? And talking about the objective part, as you said that this year also it was very analytical and very on the tougher end the questions, and that is true. Even from anybody from agriculture background, they would have understood that yes, it is in depth. The questions have been asked, right? So at that moment, right, because this was the second time you were writing mains, right? So at that moment, when you were again you were facing this question, did you freak out looking at the type of questions that were there? That maybe I will not be able to make it into the objective part. It might cost me one more year. And how did you manage that situation? How did you made yourself calm?
And I was not at all calm during that time. So when I saw the questions, I was like, "Oh, this is very tougher than last year. What should I do here? Whether I should attempt less questions or whether I should take some risk and attempt more questions." This was like, okay, only 30 minutes is there, and I was thinking that, oh, well, I will not be able to make this year. So
Yeah,
here I can take some risks. So I was able to take risk and I had attended more questions than last year. So the mental calmness during the exam time was not at all okay for me. And I was thinking that I should be really working on that for my next or my future attempt. So that was the time I really understood the importance of our mental readiness for any competitive exam. So that really affected my descriptive paper also, because this 30 minutes, just the 30 minutes got over, the descriptive paper will start the right away. And I was not able to finish the two 10-marker questions completely. I mean, I was not able to write the conclusion part, I mean, as decidable by me. So it really affected me in my those two questions over there. So that is due to the because we are thinking too much in that exam time itself.
yeah.
So I was thinking like that I should be able to do what is required in that time only, and I should not take. I mean, I should not jump to the conclusion, or I should not do like that during my next attempt or like that. I was thinking like that only after the exam got completed.
Yeah, true, true. Here are two key takeaways for the aspirants that I would want to uh, point out from Mr. Zahir Khan's journey. See, the first of all, when he looked at the question, the first attitude that he had, that okay, next year I have to keep these things in mind, right? It shows the positive attitude that is for the examination. You never have to think that you can't clear any examination. If you find difficulty in any part of the exam, you have to see it in a positive manner. And secondly, what Mr. Zahir Khan did, he attempted more questions than last year because he had this understanding that the questions are already tough, and if he's not able to clear it, so why not to take the chance, right? So sometimes you have to be very, very much, alert what is best for the situation. If you seem like that nothing can be done from your side, so at least attempt questions, do your guesswork, the preparation that you have done religiously, somewhere subconsciously it will help you in the examination. It helped Mr. Zahir Khan in the examination, and same thing can be done for you, right? And talking about descriptive, like you said that it did impact your content. So like what you felt that your typing speed it went slow, or your subconsciously your mind was still in the objective section, so you could not think of the answers? Like what according to you went wrong in descriptive? And also, is it like some of the questions, two questions that you mentioned, did you uh, had incomplete answers, or still like did you manage to give complete answers to them?
And those two questions, I was able to give the required content, but not with the full word limit. But the thought of the objective paper actually impacted both my speed and the content. So I was thinking about the objective only. I was
Yeah.
thinking that I should attempt that question also. I should leave that question. This actually affected my the typing speed and also the content during the descriptive paper. So after one question got over, I was okay. But that one question took almost, I think, around 7 or 8 minutes more than actually it required. So it
Yeah.
actually impacted, I mean, it affected all the questions. So the thought about the objective was the real culprit during the descriptive paper.
Right, right, true. So this is something which aspirants who are preparing for the very first time have to keep in mind, that such situation might come. So you have to generate that sort of attitude in you, that once you're done with the objective, just be done with it, and then focus on descriptive. Right. Some of the ways, meditation can be one of the ways by which you can have this control over your mind. Right. And secondly, when you can't do anything about a situation, uh, there's no reason to cry over the spilled milk, right? So that was for the second part, descriptive, right? So once this particular phase 2 was done, and because last time also I think you could not clear phase 1, phase 2, right, because of the typing speed only. So this time also, did you had those thoughts in your mind, that you again another year is wasted, or maybe you were hopeful, still hopeful, that maybe because I have given complete answer, maybe I'll be able to make it?
The my two friends who already introduced me to the exam, they were very hoping that I will clear this year. So they actually got selected last year. So they were saying that you have prepared holistically and you have given your best. So don't bother about that. Start for the interview preparation.
Yeah.
My thought was like that 50-50. Okay, let the result came. After that only I will be preparing for interview. So I was preparing for, I mean, I was preparing for the next year's regulatory body cycle, especially the RBI, IRDA, the
Yeah.
same NABARD itself. So when the result came, I could not believe in my eyes. So last I got cleared. So then the next very thought was like that, okay, whether it should be I will be getting ample time to prepare for the interview. Luckily
Yeah.
this year we got enough time for the interview also. So that was the thought when the result came, and that was the thought after the exam got over.
Yeah, right. So, what was your next step once you saw your name for the interview? So, how did you prepare for it?
I had talked to my friends who's already working in NABARD, and they said that you should be reading the basic things about the NABARD website, NABARD annual report, and about
Mm.
our own profile and all. So, and I had conversation with one of my friends who is already preparing for NABARD. So
Mm.
she will daily ask 1 or 2 questions through the telephone. I mean, through the video call format
Yeah.
only. So I was able to like frame my answers, and I was able to listen to my mistakes, my tones, and all. So in this
Mm.
way, I think around 2 months of this regular phone conversation and through multiple mock tests, I mean mock interview with my friends and some institutes also, I was able to holistically for the interview.
Right. And how similar or different was your main interview from the mock interviews that you have given?
It was some questions were really expected on the lines since I have done a certificate course in digital banking. So the major question was 1, 2 or 3 questions were related to that only. And since I have been working as a tour coordinator and a travel consultant, so 3 or 4 questions were related to that only. And some questions were bouncers, and I could not remember what I answered over there. And after the interview got over, I was like that, oh, whether okay, I have given some good answers for this question, but could not give good answers for that question. So it was like an okay type of interview, not that bad or not that good.
Yeah.
So it was also a mixed feeling. So I was thinking that I could do better. I could do better for that
Yeah.
question. I could answer better for that question, and I could slow a little bit over there. Like that, all
Yeah.
these thoughts were coming after the interview got over.
True, true. And I personally believe that for an aspirant, especially the time before merit list, it's the most torturing one. So how did it go for you? Because you were skeptical about phase two also, and then interview also was like okayish, that went from your end, right? So how was that phase? And finally, when the result was out and you saw your name, like how was your reaction?
Actually, after the interview got over, after 2 days, I started to prepare for the some state service exam.
Mm,
So in this way, I tried to make busy in some other schedules and all. But the thought of the result and the like the that was actually affecting me. I mean, my studies
yeah,
during that time. And when the result finally came, I was like, I mean, I was literally speechless, or I could not move my hand or something like that. I
yeah,
was very still stand position. So when the result came, I was okay. At last, after all these through all the years, I got a desired
yeah.
result at last. So this was the feeling when the result came actually.
Right, true, true. So now, when you have cleared this examination and you were, very critical, and everybody is very critical after they've given the exam, they've given the interview that I could have done this or that, right? So for phase two, also, as you said, that you had your own problems while giving the exam, which for you could not perform your 100%, and for interview also, right? There were such questions which you were not able to answer. But now, when you have cleared this exam, and now let's remove that critical analysis that you have done for yourself, what do you think the quality that you had, be it in your phase two exam or maybe during interview, that gave you this selection? Like what XYZ factor that you had incorporated in the preparation?
Ma'am, I am very good at remembering numbers. So in every question of descriptive, I was able to include I mean, two or three data or two or three reports like that. So
Hmm.
I'm very good at remembering numbers and reproduction is same at the exam. And in my interview also, some questions were related to like knowledge type question. I was
Hmm.
able to include some data points or some examples over there. So these are the main thing I think that will be standing out. So when we are thinking about giving any answer, we should make them aware. I mean, we should convince them. So
Yeah.
due to this only, this is happening. So this is the area where I was focusing more from the last attempt. So I think that is the main thing. I mean, I was able to remember a lot of facts related to numbers and all.
Yeah.
So that actually helped me in the prelims, in the mains, and in the interview also. So this year's prelims was also, I think 4 years, I mean, this remembering or the good memory power of this actually helped me to, I mean, attempt more than 37 or 36 questions in the ESI section. So that is
Yeah.
the thing I am very good at,
True, true.
ma'am.
True, true. Because it's not like about knowing everything, 100% of everything. Nobody can do it, right? But whatever limited knowledge you have, you should have it in a way that you can convince anybody with the data facts that this is true and this is how the things go, right? And it worked for you, and it can work for you as well. For exams like it's been observed that in exams like NABARD, RBI, the more you put percentage out there, the more you put data out there, it will definitely work in your favor, right? So that was about Mr. Zahir Khan's journey, about how he cleared this examinations in his second attempt. However, it is a long preparation, I would say, for him, a long struggle for him. And finally, now you have ended up into a very good institution. We are really, really happy about it. And we from EduTap, we wish you all the very best for your future.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.